We already find problem major in this unit. This inside wall is totally puffed up. Water. Laura will show us what it looks like. It's pretty sad. I have a crater. It's actually a gully for water to go down that wall. Is that a culprit?
He hasn't even camped with us yet and find high moisture readings. So my first one that I found today was right down here. It's RV inspection day, and today we are in Oxford, Massachusetts, about to inspect this beautiful 2024 Berkshire 39A. Now stick around. This customer has hired us today to do what we would call a warranty inspection. So stick around and we're going to update you at lunch and the end of the day.
All right, first glimpse. Another smart, thinking forward person that think, okay, I bought this. Maybe I went backward. I should have had the inspection before. But now at least you know warranty's coming over. So you want to make sure that everything that's on there, plus the list of things that you found so far, will be addressed under warranty. Remember, you paid quite a few penny for this unit, and shouldn't it be up to par and perfect? So on this Berkshire, I already see a couple of things that intrigues me that I don't really like. We already talked to the customer. He already has complained about slide out toppers, a couple of things that he found. But right here, for me, I see this slide out. I want you to see, here's the belt trim, here's how low I am from the belt trim. And if I look all the way to the back, I'm thinking, okay, why isn't this lined up sort of a little bit better with the belt trim? So you can see that the front end is way lower than the back end. And if I look at my guidelines, I'm gonna see that it's not quite in line. But how is it not in line? Because it's not just going up or going down. So what I observed from the inside, let's go check inside. So I'll explain to you a little bit better what I'm looking at. You know what this is? This is our guideline in our group of inspector. Everybody knows the red pencil. So I'm inside. And I've told you this is the front end of this slide out. So I want you to see how much room I've got here. I could put, a couple of fingers in there. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of movement that I can go and see that the front end is way ahead. No, it's actually backwards. So all this distance, let's go check what we have in the back. So remember, I have a couple of inches here in the front. Let's go check what I have in the back. All right, so here we are in the back. You remember what we had in the front for space? See how much I have here? Absolutely nothing. I can't even stick this pencil in there. You want to buy a rig? And I'm gonna say this because we've read about this before or heard about people that get frustrated because, well, you spend 2 days on an inspection and a report of 600, 800 pictures and get to the point, give us the problem. Let me explain to you a protocol that we have. And the reason why we log these pictures is to actually being able to make a report that has an efficiency. When you're forced to take every square inch of your unit, you look for things. If you do like some of them and deliver, 80 to 100 pictures on a report, you didn't need to look at nothing. You just aim at one thing and go check it out. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with, I'll call him a super tech. Everybody knows him. I'm not going to name him, but let's say that he's out there in the public. Not to say that he's got a big beard, but he is a tech. He is full of knowledge, understand exactly what we're talking about, what we're looking for. Like he admits to me, I'm not an inspector. I don't do what you guys do. Give me something to fix. I'll figure it out. This is what I do. I'm a tech. I'm not an inspector. An inspector, as an inspector, we try to find issues that might be a problem. As a tech, you spend your day fixing this problem. So the number of times that we've seen a repetitive problem that we look for, that we look at, is way more obvious for us than it is even on a super tech that admits that that's why I'm not an inspector. That's why I'm a tech. You give me a report, I'll go through that report, I'll know exactly where to find the problems. So for the people that think that we give people too much of a report and we should be done in half a day, well, that's exactly why we don't deliver this. And that's also why we don't have 2 or 3 different levels of inspection. You either inspect something or you don't. If you're chasing a price and you try to make a shortcut, hire anybody. Just hire the cheapest one on there. And by the way, there's some at $350. In an hour and a half, you'll have a report. You'll be happy. You'll feel good that you spent money and you think you had a report. Good luck with that. So we're back to the front. We already assumed this problem with this slide out. So we already know where we're at with this. Now we'll have a surprise. Laurel found something interesting the minute she walked in. And that's why there's also a protocol when she walks in of how people should look at this before we start the inspection. So there's a process that she follows. Here's what she found. We'll see it at lunchtime when it's her turn. I'm going to work. See you at lunchtime.
So come on in. Let's see my first glimpse and my stow and go. So as far as my stow and go, check this out. I can walk directly back into my kitchen area. I can sit in my dinette, cook, whatever it is that I want to do, right? I have access to my fridge. You just have to be really careful not to hit the wall right here. And if you want access to your half bath, then you can get in there as well. Again, you've got to be careful of the door because it's going to hit your fridge. I can also go to bed, but I'm going to have to sleep this way because this slide needs to go out in order to actually sleep. But if I'm just going to get here, take a quick little nap, I can just lay sideways across my bed right here. That'll work just fine. So as far as the stow and go, I think it's A-okay. As far as my first glimpse, I haven't seen anything that goes, wow, something's wrong with this unit. But you know, we're going to update you at lunch and the end of the day.
All right, lunchtime recap. Smartest man alive right there. But we won't showcase him up. We already find problem major in this unit. We're just going to walk you through this, and I want you to understand when we say you should have your inspection before, that would be why. Because if we found stuff like this on the held over, what would be your stance? All right, you guys need to fix this before I buy this, because now poor man's going to have to bring it back to the dealer in either you're in Massachusetts or wherever. It's probably going to have to go back to Indiana. All right, is that on your time? Hey, if you're retired, you got nothing else better to do, that's cool. But the overall look is awesome, but the quality is kind of, we can leave the quality of this unit in your own discretion. This, just to give you an idea, this is rust that I have on these because these brackets that are back into the slide out actually rub on this. If you remember this morning I told you the alignment on this was questionable, actually more than questionable. It needs to be addressed because this is too much on this end. It needs to go forward. So same here. Listen, it's a year old. You got rust coming out of the system. You got rust starting to bubble here too. On the other side, I also found on top of one of the slide out, you can have running paint. So the paint job is left to desire. Let's go on the other side. I'm mentioning this because you've heard me say this before. Look at that seal up there. What do you think is going to happen when it rains? I want you to think of the rain going in there. You need something to unroll. It's called tuck and roll. You have to do this. Don't rely on the dealership or the manufacturer. It's not their problem once it's yours. The seal itself becomes your problem, the wiper seal. Some people will put stripes on here like we have on the other slide out, so actually when it comes out, it actually rolls it out. Whatever will help you to make this being sealed properly when it's open, that's kind of on you, unless the manufacturing, like we find in a lot of units, is not really put in the right smart way. In this floor, down here to this floor, this inside wall is totally puffed up water. Laura will show us what it looks like. It's pretty sad. So this whole console that you might see, the console where you put your arm, where there's a transmission, a leveling system, all of this window has been changed. And the customer told me that there was no problem inside until they changed this. On top of this trim, right here, on top of this trim, right on top, I have a crater. It's actually a gully for water to go down that wall. Is that a culprit? I don't know. So right above the driver's window, right above the mirror, is where you got this gap where the water goes in like there's no tomorrow. So this afternoon I'm going to go to the mechanical side. I got one side left to do. Let's go check what Lowell has inside at this time of day.
So it's lunchtime, and yeah, we've been working pretty darn hard in here. And, you know, it blows our mind when we can walk into a brand new unit. He hasn't even camped with us yet, and find high moisture readings. So my first one that I found today was right down here. Okay, I'm going to show you right here behind the driver's seat. You know, when I noticed that the wallpaper was wrinkled here, as you can see, but then it's really soft to the touch. And I think you can see my finger pushing in here. And then when I put the moisture meter there, you're going to see 70. Yes, so we definitely have some moisture right here in the wall behind the driver's seat. Yeah, that's a little discouraging, isn't it? And then the second one that I find is right over here at the base of the window. I'm going to go around the window here by the driver's seat and show you the moisture that I'm finding here as well. So you can see 60. We'll come back over here. So we definitely have had some moisture in here. Compared to those two items, the rest of what I found so far is pretty minuscule. And then coming in here, you know, I have a couple of gouges in the bedroom dresser here and here. But then I have this floor trim right over here. And I didn't have any moisture readings, but it just looked like I possibly would. It's not even really attached nicely, but I mean, I didn't manufacture it. That's not my issue. And then I have this stain. I'm not really sure what it comes from, but it's quite yellow right here. Again, no moisture readings there, but I think the moisture readings that we found, probably enough right there. Let's hope I don't find more this afternoon. But as you know, I'm going to be checking my water and doing the rest of my cabinets and all of my appliances. So we'll see what we find then. Now, if you're sitting home thinking, you know, I think I'd like to become an RV inspector because I want to help RVers. I want to prevent them from having a fail along the trail. Reach out to us. Go to our website. Fill out the form because we love to hear from you and love for you to be in our next workshop. So on that note, I'll see you at the end of the day.
End of the day recap. Let's decap this Berkshire, which is beautiful, by the way. It looks awesome. For me, the paint job is, as I said at lunchtime, it's not the best, but it's fine for people who don't look at a paint job or don't look at reflex and quality of painting. But structure-wise, I still have problems. If you recall this one, I have water here. So something went down here. Is it the window that's been changed? Because we know the customer had this change since the beginning. It was rattling, he says. So he brought it up to the dealer. They physically changed this whole window because he was able to put his hand in there as it was moving. Maybe water was puddling in here because it was coming from that window. Maybe at one point, if the floor osmosis of the plywood, because floor is the plywood, will suck up the water. And maybe at one point when there's enough water, well, it doesn't go back into the plywood. It actually bubbles up and starts sucking up into the luan of these walls. I know he was told that this was Azdel inside and outside. Well, I don't know last time that Azdel was able to suck up water, but what the hell do I know? So it's kind of a polymer, so it shouldn't get softened, it shouldn't suck up water. Hey, maybe it's a telltale sign of a salesperson. We hear those often. So on a real note, I'm gonna show you this. You see how this is scraped? Imagine, this is new. If it went out 10, 15 times, it's already gouged, it's already going into the material. I know some people are gonna say, well, the roller's there, the floor goes down, back up. Okay, the roller's inside, and this actually scrapes on the ceramic. as it's going in. Is it because this floor is like this? And because of all this water damage we had here, maybe it has something to do with that, and maybe the floor does this, because it almost looks like the floor is going like this. So it might be worse than we thought. But this is this slide out. So let's go to the other problem I got with this slide out. Rear end of the same slide out we were just on there. The top end of this. Look at that trim lifted. Look at that trim lifting from the sidewall. So this trim is actually lifting, allowing water to go there. And, oh, no, they put some tape in there. No, the screws are in there. Always remember, a screw will actually draw water. It's metal. So it will suck up water and give a channel to the water to get in there. So the top of this roof, same thing, reading up to 60%. It's a beautiful unit. That's what's hard about this, and that's what our customer was saying. We bought this, what can be fixed? Am I safe to go somewhere? Yes, I have nothing in the carriage. Everything was beautiful. Brakes, listen, it's 2,500 miles. This is brand spanking new. There's no issues. Muffler, brake, airbag, everything is, it's a truck. It's a 360 Freightliner, and everything is perfect. Tires are good. There's no hot skin. I got some reading, but it's consistent. So we got about 2.5 volts coming up. So nothing to be alarming. So everything is good. It was challenging today because we only had a 20 amp service. So once in a while we were able to run the generator. So Princess wasn't able to be that hot inside. So we took care of her by starting the generator. So talking about her, let's go see what she's got inside on this majestic Berkshire.
So it's the end of the day, but let's talk about something fun. We're gonna come right in here into the shower because I know you tall folks, you wanna know what I found out? Well, if you're 76 inches and shorter, you're gonna be just fine in here. And while we're in here, let me just show you something small. You see this trim right here? It's missing, okay? So all the other walls have the trim on it, and that one is missing. We have a few little demarcations in the wood, you know, right here and right here. Not a big deal, right? It's not huge. Another one over here. He can probably get out his pen. The big thing that I had this afternoon is an electrical situation going on. So anytime that I use an electrical outlet here in the kitchen or up by the passenger seat, boop, pops the breaker. They're going to have to figure out something with the electrical situation. And as you know, we've got a lot of moisture in that wall up there behind the passenger seat and around the armrest of the chair. Well, not really the armrest, but the wall right down here. So a lot of moisture, soft walls, something he's absolutely not too happy about and needs to get fixed. But that's the whole idea on having this warranty inspection.
Mr. Rich, why did you want to have an inspection?
I inspected it myself. Something just was off. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pay them to come out and see what else they could find that I did, which I'm glad you did, because you found that wall all wet, which can turn into a larger issue later on.
You also said you had a gut feeling about something.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking not too long ago. And it's like, this is new. This is not a used unit. Rich has this here, and he told me, he says, am I okay? I want to make a reservation. I want to go on a trip this weekend. It's the 4th of July weekend. I want to go somewhere. Can I? Hey, you can go anywhere you want. There's no life safety issue here. We were good.
Right, that's what I was concerned with.
Yeah.
Or there was a wall going to fall off, or the major leak is going to get worse if I start traveling with it. Right, so.
So now, what do you think is going to be the next step with having bought this? You're still under warranty. How do you think you're going to approach that towards the manufacturer or the dealer?
Well, once I get your report, I'll send a copy to the manufacturer and I'll say, how do you want to fix this? How are we going to do? I want everything on this list corrected, and what's the next steps that we're going to do?
Would you agree with me that it would have been quicker or better or less stressful if you would have said, let's have the report first before I pay you, so I don't have to carry this debt for the next God knows how many.
Until I sell my house. Yes, I would have. And I did try. Just up here in New England, there are not a lot of certified people that inspect them, and I couldn't find anybody. And I had a timeline on the deal I got. I mean, I saved $125,000 off of what they were asking for originally. So that's the reason I said I can fix stuff up myself.
So to Rich's point, because I'll defend his position, if you have a real drive of why you didn't need an inspection or you didn't want an inspection before purchasing, that's one of the reasons. $125,000 that you can save on the deal. You can say, all right, call us later and we'll do what we did with Rich. If there's a worthy value of it, there's definitely not $125,000 of repair on this. Right. Is there going to be hurdle? Is it going to be a pain in the ass? Are you going to lose it for, we know, months probably?
How many days I've already driven back and forth to the vendor on the stuff that I found.
Yeah. So when you have time and you're retired like Rich here.
I'm not retired.
That's what I'm trying to make people understand. It's like, okay, you were in a special position. I'm not encouraging people to do this because now he's stuck with a different hurdle, but he still saved money. So he's in a good position.
If I had the opportunity, I would have found one. I called you guys. You weren't up in the territory. You had nobody up in the area yet. You were recommending. I called over 13 inspectors, and most of them either were retired or they moved to Florida.
So we're actually taking care of that issue by endorsing other teams, and that's why we're trying to build a network of valued inspectors. So we're not a school. We do not pawn people that, oh, I want to sign up. No, you go through a process of elimination, or if you got the same intent that we have, Laurel and I, and the people that work together. We just hope that we were able to help and ease up the pain that's coming.
I'm looking forward to your report, and what you've told me so far makes me feel better. That wall's a major thing. There's an issue with the slides that I know that, and I can cover it under warranty, or else they got to buy the thing back from me at full price, plus my taxes. That's how I look at it. This is where now I'm covered. I got an official report, not just me saying, hey, I found this, I found that. Right. So I do have a peace of mind now that I'm paying for it. It was worth it because of what you found, and now I can start the process of getting it fixed. So I would recommend have a warranty inspection while it's still in warranty. It's a peace of mind that I have, and I do inspections on IT stuff for a living. So I inspected this stuff in the service, aircraft and stuff, so I had an idea, but I didn't know all the ins and outs of all the new RVs and stuff.
Thank you again for your time.
And thank you guys for coming up here. As you're passing through, stop by and inspect this and give me a peace of mind. So
now he has a laundry list. The little, the big, he can now take it and get this fixed under warranty. So that's a great thing. Even though he did it a little bit backwards, next time he knows he would have the inspection prior to purchasing. All these things would have been addressed before he even bought it, before his tires even went off the parking lot. But now he's had the warranty inspection. He'll be able to take it back and get everything fixed. The world is like a book. And for those of you who don't travel, you've only read one page. So get out there and start traveling. So remember, and do never forget, it's not about the destination.
It's all about the journey.